folks. It may seem relatively light right now. Don't go on out and plan on coming back later in the evening thinking you could make it, because it really will go downhill and deteriorate quickly later this afternoon and tonight. Don't challenge Mother Nature. Snowfall right now, it's generally light, current condition, 12 degrees. Visibility way down again. We have snow and also fog reducing that visibility. The main player reducing the visibility later today, though, will be the snow. Northeast wind, 12 miles per hour, humidity 58%, barometer starting to fall 30-28, sign of a deepening storm, and this one is going to blow up quickly in the next 24 hours. And a sign of that, you can see the enhanced areas on the radar where the orange is showing up. This is where the storm system will be tracking to, lifting the air and squeezing out all the available moisture, throwing it up into this cold air. So on the northern edge, it's going to be all snow. There are some signs there may be a changeover in Delaware, Maryland, and maybe extreme southeast New Jersey to a little sleet and freezing rain for a while. But here, an all-snow maker, and it's a very fine, a very powdery snow. It's accumulating as soon as it hits the surface. It's been cold for several days, and because of that, anything that falls will pile up quickly, and pile up it certainly will. 15 to 20 inches expected in most of the area. Blizzard warning, 10 to 18 inches to the north and west. So look for temperatures. I should say first, the coastal flood warning is also in effect. New Jersey shore, Long Island shore for those northeast winds later tonight and tomorrow could cause low-lying flooding at times of high tide. But forecast highs today only in the upper teens. So you have snow, you'll have wind, and dangerous wind chills well below zero. If you're inside watching us, stay put. I think that's the
impending storm. Once that emergency is declared, then people legally are required to move out of there. What occurs is that we have tow trucks. We're deploying immediately about 40 tow trucks to be ready. And what will occur is that we will tow these vehicles in nearby vicinity. We won't ticket them, but we will be towing vehicles out of the way. At a certain point, we may get into enforcement measures. But at this point, on a voluntary basis, we need people to get out of the snow emergency routes. They really are critical in terms of the health and safety of the city.
How close are you to that right now? We're looking at a live picture. I don't know if you can see it, Lee, and you can see winds have picked up, snow coming down much more dramatically here, and we're talking just the Upper East Side of Manhattan.
Well, we're ready. I think it's a little bit too premature to call it now. That's a decision that the mayor will make. At this point, we are ready, and we will take it as it comes. I think there's a strong likelihood of it happening, but we want to just be a few more hours into it before it occurs. But people should be making the preparations now. They really should avoid driving and going out if they can. If they need to get out, they should take public transportation. But all of that really needs to be watched as the situation develops.
Lee, real quickly, how do you know if you're a motorist if your car is about to be towed?
Well, the point is to know if you've parked on a main snow emergency street, and those are indicated with the red signs and the white snowflakes. The major arteries in the city tend to be snow emergency routes in Brooklyn, like Flatbush Avenue, Atlantic Avenue in Queens, Queens Boulevard, and Northern Boulevard in the Bronx, the Grand Concourse, the major avenues and streets. So if you're parked on a local street, the likelihood is that you're not. But you should go out and double check, particularly if you've parked not where you live in an area that you're not familiar with.
Okay, Lee, thank you very much for joining us this morning. We appreciate your guidance there.
Our pleasure.
And up next, dieters beware. We'll get... All right.
Thanks for joining us here on the Weather Channel on this Sunday. And I'll tell you, Super Bowl Sunday is a couple of weeks away, but we have the Super Bowl of snowstorm for the eastern United States. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking snows like you have not seen in your lifetime, possible in Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, and New York City. We've been watching the snowflakes gather around Washington, D.C. We've watched the snows increase in intensity. And standing by, live, outside the nation's capital is the Weather Channel's Jeff Morrow. Jeff, I can barely see your Penn State hat. It's getting covered up there in the snow.
Okay, Mark, conditions have steadily worsened here throughout the morning hours, and now we're getting toward the noon hour right now, and this is probably about as bad as I've seen it. The wind still isn't all that terribly bad, but the visibility has really dropped. I'd say it's no more than about 1/8 of a mile behind me there. You can't see down the mall very far at all. There's a person that's cross-country skiing down that way, but you can barely see them, and that can't be more than maybe 1/8 of a mile down the mall. I would estimate maybe upwards of 11 to 12 inches of snow on the ground. A little bit difficult to tell. It's such a powdery snow that it's drifting a little bit. So, you know, we can't really make a real accurate measurement here in any one particular place. Now, what you're looking at here are scenes from earlier today. My cameraman, Steve Angel, and I went around and shot some scenes. You can see the Capitol and some folks that got stuck in the snow, some cross-country skiers. That's when there was about 7 or 8 inches on the ground. As I mentioned, in the last hour or so, it has started snowing a lot harder, and it continues to come down. Haven't heard any of that thunder snow that we were talking about a little bit earlier, but I wouldn't doubt that that may be coming out before too long. So the situation here, things are bad, and they're having a hard time keeping up with the plowing on the roadways here. They're getting pretty bad as well. Mark?
All right, thanks a lot, Jeff, and we'll be hearing from Jeff a little bit later on, and that snow is really picking up there around the nation's capital, and we have seen the visibilities drop dramatically. It's been snowing at the rate of 1 to 2 inches an hour, so thank heavens it's on a weekend, and a lot of people aren't doing some traveling about, but of course the local people should stay indoors today. If you don't have to travel today, please don't. Let's take you now to the radar, and as we take a look at the radar, you can see the precipitation is just winding up along the East Coast, and from New York City southward down to Washington, D.C., it's all snow and all points in between here. It is snowing at the rate now about 1 to 2 inches an hour. Surface low pressure is now beginning to intensify on the coast of South Carolina. That will be heading its way northeastward, and as it does so, very cold northeasterly winds will be coming in with the Atlantic moisture out here being pulled inland over this very cold Arctic air mass. We are looking at about 1 to 3 feet of snow in this area right in through here. So this is just going to be a major headache for our travelers. Even in the Midwest, we still have the upper air system parked over Kentucky, and as that moves east, we're still seeing some pretty heavy snows here in the Ohio Valley and right up to the Miami Valley and into Columbus. It's snowing at the rate of 1 to 2 inches an hour in here, so there's still problems in the Midwest. As we take a look at the surface map again, you can see where the snow is, and there's a look at the low on the coast of South Carolina. Heavy snows in the mountains of North Carolina. We've had reports of 1 to 2 feet of snow in the mountains of North Carolina, over 2 feet of snow in the mountains of West Virginia. And now the live report from Jeff there showing that snow really picking up in D.C. Farther up the coast, though, the snow has been intensifying up around the New York City metropolitan area. So as we take a look at our snow history, we'll be updating this to show now the accumulating snows getting up into northern New Jersey and right up into New York City. But already 1 to 2 feet has fallen in through here, and we have some pretty bad icing problems just a little bit farther down to the southeast, down around Richmond. We had reports of quite a mixed bag. But unfortunately, more snow is on the way, and it looks like it's just going to be a paralyzing storm for today from western Virginia, West Virginia, right up into southeast Pennsylvania. And right along the immediate coast, we will have that mixed bag of frozen precipitation. Cold air, plenty of that associated with the storm. So as the storm comes up into New York City, not only do we have the cold to battle, but we have some pretty nasty wind chills along with the snow. So let's go to New York City now, and standing by live is the Weather Channel's Jill Brown. And Jill, looks like your cheeks there are getting a little bit rosy, and a little bit of snow is beginning to accumulate.
Yes, we've had about maybe an inch of accumulation, but they did already have snow on the ground. So this winter wonderland that you see behind me isn't just because of the storm today, but we have maybe 1 inch so far, another possibly 23 to go here in New York City. Now, it's pretty cold here, and that has been the biggest problem so far, and that may be the problem through the afternoon. But we're already getting reports of a lot of accidents on the roadways. They've declared a state of emergency in New Jersey. And of course, what they have in D.C. and what they have in New Jersey is just slowly headed this way. The snow's been picking up, the wind's picking up a little bit. They're out of the northeast now around 15 to maybe 20 miles per hour. Once we get sustained winds of 35 miles per hour, which is likely, that would be blizzard conditions. And of course, that is what's expected through this afternoon.
Jill, I talked to my sources in New Jersey, and they told me that the lines at the supermarkets are just incredible. And there's a lot of people at the stores, and it's just crazy up there right now. And have you had any reports of people flocking to the supermarkets and just grabbing all the goodies?
Well, people seem to have gotten prepared actually fairly early. We had talked to some people at the hotel who said they flew in last night knowing the storm was coming, and so they're here. But a lot of the things that are going on around the city will continue to go on. And actually people are, hustling and bustling around New York City. The city that doesn't sleep also does not stop in case of snowstorms. So we have a lot of people out and about today. The stores are open, and people don't seem to be panicking at this point. We don't see long lines at what few stores you'll see in Manhattan, but you do have people kind of out and about, milling about, and they have, I think, been pretty prepared for the storm.
Okay, and the people, of course, I talked to, Jill, we're in New Jersey where there is a state of emergency right now, a snow emergency, and we are anticipating the blizzard conditions to continue to move up. And down the road from you, Jill, it's snowing at the rate of 1 to 2 inches an hour, so I expect you'll begin to see a lot more snow pretty soon, probably in the next couple of hours.
That's what we're prepared for. Again, so far, just light snow. We've had maybe an inch accumulation, but things are definitely going to be picking up soon.
All right, thanks a lot, Jill, and we'll be hearing from Jill and Jeff throughout the day and giving us updates on the conditions as they deteriorate in New York City and as they continue to worsen around the nation's capital. Of course, if you're doing some traveling today at the airports, you'll have some major problems around Baltimore and Washington, D.C. Airports have been closed for snow removal. We've had delays in Atlanta because of snow and ice there. And, of course, the snow continues in the Midwest. Quick peek at our satellite picture for you once again shows us what's going on. Let's go to that satellite and take that full, and you can see that there's a lot of enhanced clouds along the East Coast. Again, the surface low developing here off the coast of South Carolina, the upper low back here in Kentucky, so that's why the snow continues here. But right up the coast, from D.C. to New York City, this is where the band of the heavier snows will be falling today. And, of course, it'll be quite cold and quite windy, and along the coast, considerable problems with beach erosion and tidal flooding. We're looking for the winds to increase as the storm intensifies and moves northeast. Winds will be blowing over 50 miles an hour on the coast starting later today and overnight tonight. Stay tuned for updates on this dangerous winter storm in the east and in the Midwest. Right now, let's take a look at some local conditions.
All right, Mark.